cities have towers, others have bridges. There might also be a mosque known as the symbol of the city, or a mill. But very few cities have beautiful people who have become their symbol. Here is my beautiful city. We started recording the beautiful people of Silivri to help future residents understand the spirit of my town, to the Symbols of the City project. While walking through the streets of Silivri, sometimes you see them passing by quietly, sometimes defending their beliefs loudly, sometimes lost in thoughts about Silivri, and sometimes rushing to help their loved ones. To get to know these people who passionately love this city and dedicate their lives to contributing something to it, we first asked their loved ones, them.
Yes, Ali and I met in 1976. We met, I was working at Varnav and he was doing welding and such at the same factory. That's how we met. Later on, I went back to work after high school at the same workplace. We were like brothers there again. Of course, after that, we were together in the CHP and in associations. We have known each other since those years. A combative good friend of ours.
Who is Pirate Ali Pirate? Ali Pirate, a friend I was close with in the mid-80s, a friend of mine. We knew him from before, from the Masir neighborhood, the Kaleris. They were from the Makir neighborhoods. We knew him because of the Makir neighborhood. But in the 80s, due to politics, and perhaps as we got a bit older, we became acquainted. During those times, Ali was working as a blacksmith in the area known as the Old Industrial Zone, now in the area above the second bridge of the Boluka circuit. There were industrial shops. They were also doing blacksmithing, quite a job. He was a brother who dealt with hammers, anvils, bellows, and fire, working with blacksmiths.
After finishing primary school, I worked as a blacksmith apprentice until I went to the military, journeyman master. As they say, after returning from the military, we opened a shop, a blacksmith shop. I ran my own shop for 17 years. We had approximately 25 employees. It was quite an adventure.
The year was 1960. There is Zeki Kilim. Those in Silivri know him, a resident of Silivri. Zeki Kilim's father, the late Nazım Kilim, was a construction contractor. He was from Ordu. My father was also a construction master from Ordu. Silivri was very undeveloped at that time. It was a Silivri with two-story, single-story mud houses. There was no such construction. In fact, we were even afraid to cross to the other side from the underpass with leaches and threshing areas around, to the area where the residences are now. We wouldn't easily cross, because there were dogs and such. And as soon as you crossed, there was a fountain on the left. We played a lot of ball there. We would only go there to play ball, to that place. Of course, since it was a construction job, Zeki Kilim was also a leftist, a good revolutionary. During that time, there was a right-left divide. We are relatives. Zeki generally prefers to stay at our house. His reasoning is that if there is a raid or anything because I am seen as right-wing, illegal books and such are hidden at my house, from the People's Liberation. Ali Korsan is also from the Liberation. They would have discussions in places like Taybashu. Lenin says this, Sten says that, no, we don't recognize your source book. He says that, but we don't recognize his source book. While having such discussions, I met Ali Korsan. We clicked, just like he stood up for you, he stood up for me. We started being together, started hanging out together.
Ali Korsan first attended our wedding. That's how I know him. Because he is a childhood friend of my spouse. They truly had a very special friendship in their youth. Therefore, during my time as district chairman and while I was working as a journalist, he was the president of the Environmental Association. During that time, his sensitivity and the campaigns he conducted related to the environment, I participated in many of these efforts, either as a name from the press sector or as a reporter. The protest against the prison, for example, is one of them. We don't want a prison protests. There were many programs we participated in together during the protests.
When I think of Ali Korsan, what comes to my mind first? To be honest, friendship comes to mind. Ali Korsan is very fond of his friends. Or the people I know, the ones I know who are this fond of their friends. There are very few people like that. Ali Korsan is one of them. Let me give you an example. Suppose you have something from Ali. Ali, would you take me to Fizan? My car broke down. Say you need to go. Believe me, without asking the question, he would take you. He looks at his own schedule. And if there's nothing, he hands you the keys and says, go. I mean, he never questions it. And as I said, is very devoted to his friends. He would do anything for his friends. He's a friendly person.
Thanks to Ali, I need to emphasize this while he goes to school. One day, back then there were no off-the-rack suits or anything like that. Recai Camcı, may he rest in peace. You would have the suit tailored there, buy the fabric. We said, let's not buy fabric from here, from Sivriler. Let's buy fabric from a place in Zeytinburnu and have it tailored. I don't have money to buy fabric. I said, the fabrics are on me. Then we went, bought suit fabric from there. We came back here and had it tailored. It was the first suit in my life that I wore with pleasure for a long time. Years later, I took Ali, I brought him, and I took the whole suit. I said, look, I owe you something from the tea garden, curtains and furniture. I said, if you get married, I will buy your furniture. But unfortunately, he also resisted, like you, to stay single. He said being single is like being a sultan, and he didn't marry. That debt still remains. In the end, I lost hope of him getting married. The one he pointed to, I will give the furniture set to.
When you think of environment, environmentalism, non-governmental organization or associationism, one of the first names that comes to mind in Sidir. We often have long conversations with Mr. Ali. We have political discussions. We talk about the environment and nature. But Ali is one of the people I always enjoy chatting with. Even though our political views and the political perspective from which we view the world are different, we can find a lot of common ground in our conversations with Mr. Ali. Because our common ground is love, nature, flowers, preventing the pollution of slavery. And the belief that Silivri should be a beautiful place as a whole with its nature, culture and history. I enjoy chatting with Mr. Ali, with Brother Ali.
I know Ali Abi's environmentalist and oppositional nature to him as well. He shows people to be aware of things. He's a valuable person to us. We support each other. I mean, we strive to be present at his events. I can say he is one of the few people in the world.
Ali Korsan is also one of the wonderful people of Silivri, truly one of the people who leaves a mark, both in political terms and in terms of social and environmental participation. For years, in the Environmental Association, some may criticize, but these tasks are not as easy as they appear from the outside. I know the time and effort he spends. I am a close witness. The establishment, from the years when he was the first president of the Environmental Association, a friend and companion I have closely followed since the fast-paced periods he was involved in politics. I also think he is truly one of the colorful figures of Silivri, one of the names that should be remembered.
In his youth, Ali was very wild and carefree. Now that wildness is gone. We're approaching 60. In fact, we've reached it. Therefore, he is now very composed and quite gentlemanly. He is someone whose words are respected. A brother we love. May God grant him a long life as well.
In the 1980s, Ali Korsan, who was among the lively youth of Silivri, began to look for ways to use this energy for his town in the following years and decided to step into politics. As everyone who knows him says, although he has a leftist perspective, over time the topic everyone would agree on is that his greatest ideology is Silivri. The politicians of this charming town at various times either stood shoulder to shoulder or faced each other, respectfully highlighting his struggle for Silivri.
After September 12th, everything changed. we said instead of engaging in marginal movements, let's do politics in local places. At that time, new parties were being established after September 12th, like the Alta party, SODEB. We went to SODEB and started working there.
Ali, let's say with Ali like this, in our youth, usually politics, involved in politics. Accounting office, at the same time we had an accounting office, a mutual friend there. After the establishment of SODEB, Ali and his friends were to be made members. The task was assigned to me. I registered him for that.
He entered politics towards the end of the 1980s. At that time there was also a youth movement, but it wasn't very active. Along with politics, that is, with Mr. Deyemensi becoming mayor in 89, he gave a bit more opportunity to the youth. At that time, Deyemensi provided those opportunities to the youth.
I believe I have known Ali Korsan since the establishment of SODEB. We always took part in the opposition wings within the party. Our brother Ali has a unique character. He tries to look at every environment with an oppositional perspective, but that oppositional perspective never ruins friendships. Despite having looked from different perspectives, our friendships always continued.
Now, in the first term, SODEB and then SHP in the unification efforts, the same thing is happening again. We were together. The politicians of that period were with this. Later, it transformed into CHP, and SHP was closed. We also had joint Congress efforts there. Previously, we had primary election efforts in SHP, and we had election efforts, so always together.
Our acquaintance with Ali Korsan might have been in 1988. I think it was SODEB at that time. There was SODEB as the left party. Within SODEB, I was younger, around 19, 20 years old. We met while going to and from the party at that time. Ali Korsan's somewhat oppositional identity was evident even back then. I mean, back then among the oppositional people, I had a connection with Ali at that time, around 88, 89. We had quite a bit of dialogue in those years, and it has continued since those years.
We already entered politics together with Ali. Ali, Necdet me, and Ahmet brother. We were friends with Ali when we were going to high school at the teacher's house. Ali was already one of the instigators.
A burden from Ali as well. Ali calls me uncle. He is a relative of both Malen and Hanım. Ali had a lovely grandmother. She was Malen's beautiful woman. She was already our relative. They were also cousins with our in-laws. It's a large family too. They were leftists. I was right-wing. I mean, let's not say leftist or rightist, but they were CHP. I was with the Justice Party. I was with the True Path Party. What do you need in politics? For a person, you need delegates. Whenever we had the opportunity, we would immediately make them members. We would vote for ourselves to become a neighborhood delegate. Of course, they would come too. They wouldn't leave us alone. And we wouldn't leave them alone. As a family, they are a well-established family of Ali Bey neighborhood. A nice family. Ali was also hyperactive. Ali Korsan was a brother who opposed everyone. But he was someone who loved environmentalism, association activities and such. Well, he too. Baba, I mean good. In his own way, he was a good party member in his own party. He would work for his party. He would pursue the cause he believed in. He would chase after that cause, but he loved association activities more. That's how his thing went. He wouldn't have any fights or quarrels with anyone. My mind is on insurance. He would go straight. He too was a lovely, beautiful brother of ours.
In 2002, before my district presidency, I became a member of the Provincial Executive Board from the Justice and Development Party. When we won the election and became the general government on November 3rd, I was given the responsibility of district presidency. A new administration will be established. What needs to be done? At that time, we needed to find many brothers with whom we felt confident from every segment, with whom we could be companions on the road, and with whom we could unite on a common ground of reason, even if they had different ideologies. We formed a very beautiful, very colorful, and very broad-based administration. One of the members of that administration, where I was the president, was Ali Korsan.
I have known Ali Abi for a very long time. We have a very good relationship. Our political views were different, but we worked in the same political party. So this is very interesting. We reached out to many people, a bit of the past. We worked together as district administrators in the AK party with Ali Abi. Ali Abi is someone who comes from a background of honesty and integrity. So he has no hidden agenda. With Ali Abi, Ali Korsan's, he is someone who speaks very clearly about what he believes, even if it hurts himself, even if it hurts his own political views. He speaks very clearly and without hesitation. For example, during that time, there were garbage mountains in the mass housing area. While those garbage mountains were being cleaned, he came and had left the AK party at that time. He also supported us. He said, a great project. The water from this garbage is seeping into the stream. It flows into the Bolka stream, reaching the sea. And he also took photos with us there. He also thanked us. Ali Abi has greatly contributed and put in serious effort for Silivri and its surroundings. In many projects considering Silivri, regarding the future of Silivri, in an environmental sense, to prevent any harm. In fact, he made these statements even during the CHP municipal period. I mean, in the past, he is one of those who can directly oppose any harmful actions without considering any political views. And that's how he is. He's a perpetual bachelor. We couldn't manage to get one of Silivri's perpetual bachelors married. I had a promise as the mayor. I said, get married. I will officiate your wedding. Then I said, the household appliances are on me. But unfortunately, he didn't get married. Through you, I say again. Now only Volkan president will officiate the wedding. And we still stand by our promise regarding the household appliances.
Ali Korsan also comes to mind as a colorful personality in politics and civil society organizations. He was on the left, then moved to the far right and became a founder of the AK party. He also fought seriously in the Environmental Association, and he continues to fight. He was initially an opponent in the CHP on the left, then he moved to the AK party and later became an opponent within the AK party. When we think of Ali Korsan, opposition comes to mind in every situation. Wherever he went, Ali Korsan has been in opposition, and he continues to be in opposition up to May.
One of the first characteristics that comes to mind when mentioning Ali Korsan in Silivri is his opposition. But this opposition is remembered by everyone with a smile based on admiration. Perhaps because of this very trait, he may not have reached the goals he deserved in politics, but what he has accomplished in civil society ensures that he is among the symbols of the city.
Ali, due to the cooperatives established at that time, again, these cooperatives, I cannot pass without mentioning Said Gergin. May God have mercy on him, 9-10 residences in Silivri. The person who formed the first cooperative phase is Said Gergin. The project belongs to him. There was no location yet, but the project belongs to him. It was in the form of a single cooperative. In '89, when 80 separated and when Mr. Selen became a candidate and won, he continued his project. And Mr. Selen gathered around 450 people. He divided them according to their profession. Producers, tradesmen and artisans, bankers and so on. Like Bell Bank, 8 cooperatives were formed. The president of those 8 cooperatives was Ali Korsanoglu. And that was the Producers Building Cooperative. They have provided homes for over approximately 100. They made the family homeowners, and they did it with very modest amounts.
Later, while building mass housing, he was also on the board of directors. We worked together for many years in the construction of mass housing. As the Environmental Association, of course, they were working on stream rehabilitation. Despite the municipality's resources being very limited, we also prioritized that area. By cutting investments from elsewhere, we rehabilitated the stream whose walls had collapsed and had turned into a center of odor, where you had to hold your nose while passing by. Later, of course, the Metropolitan Municipality carried out a different project. It was much larger. We did not have the capacity to undertake a project of that scale. As a local municipality, but still, we had transformed it into something very different from its old state. We had done the base concreting. As a result of those efforts, the Environmental Association also awarded a plaque to the Silivri municipality.
It ensures regulation. Then he even gave a plaque to President Salami. After all, he both criticizes the opposition and rewards on the other hand. He also presents the reward for the work done.
He has been serving as the president of the Environmental Association for many years. Let me put it this way. I am a founding member of the Environmental Association. In fact, I can say in quotes that I am its father. The idea belongs to me. The initial decision to establish the Environmental Association, or rather the person who thought of establishing it, the one who proposed it, is me. You know, after establishing the first Environmental Association, many administrations came and went. Most recently, our manager and President Ali Korsan. I think he has made tremendous contributions to the Environmental Association. I believe he has added a lot. In fact, he has elevated the Silivri Environmental Association to a national level. He has placed it on Turkey's agenda and is very strong. It has connections, the environmental associations. This is thanks to Ali Korsan. In this regard, I think Ali Korsan has given a lot to Silivri. I believe he has added a lot, especially in the field of environmentalism.
We also had our work with the Environmental Association from there. At that time, since there was an acquaintance stemming from there, I am one of the founders of the Environmental Association. I also, at the same time, after founding the Environmental Association, it went very well for a certain period. We managed it then to other friends. The situation arose to hand it over. We left it to them. But this work did not proceed.
One day I said to Refia, I'm founding an environmental association, CDB Environmental Association, with my friends. She said, okay, I can't manage it. There's a Congress in a month. Come, I'll hand it over to you, she said. That day I also said, okay. Then, on the day of the Congress, I came. Even though I was a member, they wrote my name at the end of the list. We became candidates.
During that period, there was both politics and journalism involved. For me as well, so the burden was a bit heavy. That's why we said to Ali, my brother, come, why are you doing something like this? Come, you take over the existing Environmental Association. You have more time available. Since you are volunteers, ultimately, the important thing is to hand over this work to someone who will do it better than us. It was to hand it over to someone volunteer, to someone enthusiastic.
Then Ali came and I, in management, in fact, I want the presidency. Just, can he be the president or something? He said. We saw he was eager immediately. We said yes. Let's convene the Congress. We held a General Assembly meeting. I was already on duty at the board during that General Assembly meeting. At that time, CHP also served as the district chairman against Hüseyin Noyan. He won the election with a significant vote advantage by 1 vote superiority. In other words, he came out first.
Later, Nur Şahlı left. Refik continued for a while. Refik Bek continued. Refik Bek left. Ali Korsan Bir took over, took it completely. It has probably been going on for about 30 years.
We also decided to hand it over to our friends Ali. So they would be the candidates. We went to the General Assembly. They even faced opposition from within the left group. At that time, Ali always says, God is above. The leftists did not support me. You see, we were with ANAP during that period. I came here with the votes of the ANAP members, the votes of the ANAP Friends members. I was elected here. We have such a memory. Ali always mentions this when he first comes back.
Alien Korsan, who stood out with a self-confidence perhaps no one expected, won the Silivri Environmental Association Congress and thus also won the presidency of the Environmental Association, which has continued from that day to today. Although this was the first step of the task, the real difficulty would emerge afterwards. The actions he initially implemented for Silivri first reached regional, then national and even international dimensions.
If today those tea gardens on the beach have remained in this state, if the area hasn't been filled with buildings, we owe it to an action taken by the Environmental Association. We had developed a project there. We were going to demolish the building currently used as a tea garden and build a restaurant in its place. We were going to renovate all the restaurants there. As a result of a protest, they demonstrated to prevent our project from being implemented. At first, it seemed very wrong to us. How could they oppose us when we had such a beautiful idea? We thought, then after sitting down and thinking, we realized that not building there and keeping it as a green area would be much more beneficial, especially for future generations. And by demolishing the other buildings, we brought it to its current state. The coastline, that action, WAC, was also an initiative started by the Environmental Association at that time. In that regard, we thank our brother Ali and those who think like him.
He truly made Silivri's voice heard. They fought great battles about the mines many years ago. He was often left alone. People often didn't care about what he said, but everything he said turned out to be true. These are many of Silivri's agricultural lands. The mines, which are called mines, but actually operate as sand pits, especially in the Beysila, Bekirli, Kufalı region, have caused a lot of deforestation. Ali fought great battles with them at that time. In later years, he fought significant battles regarding sea pollution. As I said, he fought very serious battles concerning the thermal power plant issue with other civil society organizations in the region, environmental associations, and even national level environmental associations, serious established relationships.
Now, the Environmental Association has been around for years. I believe now you can find a lot. There are many environmental volunteers, awareness has grown, but you know better, it was very difficult to do this in those times. Truly, that awareness was not very developed. There were not many who would dedicate a lot of time or create opportunities in this regard. Ali was very supportive during that period. Ali is one of my closest friends who encouraged me to become a mayoral candidate and eventually the mayor.
He has a lot of work that he has done over 25 years. For instance, the lakes in Danamandira, which are perhaps unknown to many, are currently alive, possibly only because of the work done by Ali Korsan, the initiatives he started. By involving certain institutions and individuals, he has prevented the area from being drained and disappear. The fact that the fish and birds that are currently benefiting from the area is solely due to Ali Korsan's, has been made possible thanks to their work. Now the area has been organized, otherwise it would have vanished. It would have become an arid area.
Then we requested a bus from the municipality Siri company. They allocated a bus for us. 49 women took the petition with 215 signatures collected from the village to the Provincial Environment Directorate to request the closure of the quarries. They held a protest in front of the Provincial Environment Directorate. The Provincial Environment Director accepted them. He asked, which organization is behind you? Things like that. The objection petition stated that it disrupted the ecosystem. What do you understand or know about the ecosystem? Like, pronounce the words, the Provincial Environment Director. But the women turned out to be resilient. They are still continuing their struggle. We, as the Environmental Association, Silivri Environmental Association, are supporting them.
In some environmental events, for instance, a tree is not cut down. They don't call the municipality. They started among the Environmental Association as if they were responsible. There are even those who blame them. Why aren't you taking care of it? There, the tree has dried up, this and that, etc.
Because Ali Korsan is surrounded by all kinds of, you can see Ali Korsan involved in all kinds of environmental movements. You can see him in Aliyah, you can see him in Kokaeli, you can see him in Van, you can see him in Algeria, you can see him in Germany.
For example, I went to Morocco, the conference. He went to Germany. Of course, within the country, to places like Gaziantep and Van, he has gone to a place like Brussels. I was there too. He went to different places, to Edirne.
But still, I see that they are making Silivri's name known on every platform. They participate in every platform as much as they can, and they express their views there. In this sense, I find them successful.
We went to Istanbul for party work. The friends there said either the Silivri Environmental Association, if only we had such an association, ours is inactive. There are associations in Satalka as well. The friends in Satalka are not at all complaining about their own associations, because there is no aspect of it, that ever comes up on the agenda. It doesn't come up on the agenda at all. Ali is following the events. You see, if you look at the recent times, you can figure it out from there. Moreover, there is an association activity he followed that went as far as abroad to Germany. Wherever there is an environmental event, like in Van, we see it there. The Silivri Environmental Association has become a symbol.
Silivri Environment Association understands. I mean, when I go to many places and talk to people I don't know at all, they said, do you know there is a Silivri Environment Association? They told me, oh my God, he said, how do you know, in a matter completely unrelated to Silivri. When I said I was coming from Silivri, they told me, I said, yes, I know. I said, I know it well and closely.
Here is a lifetime dedicated to the vision of Silivri, Ali Korsan's. After finishing primary school, he became a blacksmith's apprentice, found himself at the center of politics at times, and civil society actions at others due to societal sensitivities, but always prioritized Silivri above everything and ultimately became a symbol of the city. After such an exhausting journey, when we finally asked him about his dreams, the answer we received was again related to Silivri.
Mine, my dream in Silivri is from here, Park Hotel, from there, from the special administration, from Amamun, to put this coast into urban transformation, completely clear it, leaving the mosque and historical buildings and the others, completely demolished and replaced with 25-story skyscrapers, building 10 to 15 skyscrapers, to give this place a vision like a small America. The parking problem. The green space problem, I think everything will be solved at once. I have such a dream